to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel, and I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We're disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Good morning, Rooted Men. Wow, cut that pretty close. I got looking at a map and stuff and talking about the swim meet that's tonight for Oxford, and I look up and I got 2 minutes left before it's time, and I'm like, uh-oh, no 5-minute timer today. All right, see who's here. We got Chris Connolly. It's always nice to see you, my friend. See, I was much nicer today. Bert Reggiani, good morning. And we have Ken Gooch. Good morning, fellow brothers in arms. And last but not least is Chuck B. Good morning, firmly rooted men. Blessings to you all. I love that. Well, it seems like the exact same crew we had yesterday. So you knew what you guys had coming, and you're still here. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Nothing personal, Chuck. I just couldn't see it. All right. So today's scripture verses are from Proverbs, verse 24, 26 through 29. I think we could do them one at a time. It seems that they're all kind of, we're back in the, sorry. It wasn't an earthquake. It was me flipping my computer. They're all kind of independent of each other. They're pretty unique as far as that goes. Proverbs 24:26 reads, an honest answer is like a kiss on the lips. You know, in that culture, a kiss on the lips was considered a greeting of an expression of friendship or love. Kind of similar today. So it really hasn't changed much. That the idea that an honest answer is a blessing to whoever hears it. It kind of corresponds to speaking the truth in love, because An honest answer can also be painful. And so we know that an honest answer of being a kiss on the lips is going to be an honest answer spoken in love. It would just make sense. And it kind of corresponds to scripture when we have in Ephesians kind of starts it off a little bit. They covered this pretty thoroughly. And instead speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. That's from 4:15. But then it goes on, there's more. There's so many scriptures, but therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we're all members of one body. Again, they're not asking you to tell them, hey, buddy, you stink. Your house is a mess. They're not asking for that. They're asking for love. And so we have to be careful sometimes. And lastly, but not least on this one, we have a gentle answer turns away wrath, but harsh words stir up anger. There's where the love comes in, right? And that's why we talk about it, because you could get beat up. I mean, let's face it, you speak the truth too much and it could be dangerous. But then we go to verse 27. It says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. In this one, the author is trying to get you to get your priorities in order. Some people think it was, you get all your tasks first and develop your career before you start a family. That it could be interpreted that way. Others have said it's a broad reminder, that it's kind of that the most important things you need to tend to first. There's so many ways to look at that, and they're all basically the same. It's similar. Look at it and say, okay, cool. All right. And could we translate that truth into our lives? When we look at who we are as men and we look at our lives, and how many of us had parents that told us, this is how you do things. This is, you get a job, you get money in the bank, you get yourself square, then you look to settle on, have a family. And of course, none of us ever listened to it, right? I mean, you get in love and you just do it. It's kind of how we work, I think, as men. Sometimes we are headstrong. Anyway, let's go to verse 28, will you? It says, do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to mislead? And this is really a pretty simple one. He's basically asking you to examine your heart before testifying. Leviticus 19:15 covers that a little bit, where it says, do not hate a fellow Israelite in your heart. Rebuke your neighbor frankly, so you will not share in their guilt. Or deceit is in the hearts of those who plot evil, but those who promote peace have joy. I think the author really wants us to understand that testifying against your neighbor is not a crime unless there's no cause. I mean, I think Jesus said it was asked that by the Pharisees. Well, who is my neighbor? we always like to have that qualifier. All right. Verse 29. Do not say, I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. I think the modern day version of that would be, I don't get mad, I get even. Or, I don't know if there's one as good as that. I mean, that seems to be the one. We can't repay evil with evil. I mean, the Bible tells us that over and over and over again. Even in verse In Psalm 37, it says, refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Or Romans 12:19 says, do not take revenge, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. It's our human nature. I mean, we how many times do we look at somebody does us wrong and we're just so angry and so frustrated with the situation. There's a channel on YouTube where all they show are instant karma videos where people are celebrating that the guy that cut them off did it right in front of a cop and bang, he gets pulled over. Or the guy that it was one with a guy walking across the street and he's pointing at the car sitting at the stop sign who stopped for him, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and the next thing you know, he walks into a pole because he's not looking where he's going. He's too busy yelling at the car. So we all look at that and think, hey, he got what he deserved, and we rooted against him. I can't help but think that's not what God is looking for in us. But we're guilty of it. I mean, I'm guilty of it for sure. I know years ago, we were at a church and we had a youth group, and it was a good youth group. Man, we had a great time, and we were doing things and going places, and I felt like we were making a difference. And the church basically rejected us. They didn't want us, and I don't think they ever really cared for the activity of the youth group. It seemed like it was an older congregation, but I can remember after we left that church, there was huge struggles in attendance for them. I mean, the church was really split by that. And in my heart, I kind of celebrated that a little bit. And I know it's not right now. And I know that rooting for people that do God's work, rooting against people that God's work is the worst possible thing I could do. But at that time, with the hurt that I was feeling and the anger, I took it maybe a step that I shouldn't have. And I've been convicted by that, and I try to do better, but we are human, and sometimes we make a lot of mistakes. Those 4 verses are pretty cool. I mean, they're so different and so varying, but they all seem to have the same message. That wise consideration before you do anything. Wise before you answer a question. You set up your life before you make big moves, and then you testify. You do it with honesty and an honest heart. I think that's the key to it. And then revenge is for God. And I think that's what we should take from all of this. All right. Nobody else I see on here. Okay, that one we had already. All right. I think everybody's good. I'm good. And I'm off tomorrow. Yay. I don't know who's doing it, but it's not me. Y'all have a firmly rooted day. And may someone see Jesus in you today.